Jamie, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, I'll just give some updates on the courthouse departments and some of the social services and outside departments. The sheriff's office is maintaining a presence at the courthouse, and they are at the rear entrance to the courthouse just to field any requests that might come to the door. The building is closed to the public. However, there are some emergency court proceedings that have been taking place over the last couple of weeks that require people to be present for a hearing, and so the sheriff's office is handling that and deliveries to the building, and it's just it's really worked out well to have just a minimal presence of the sheriff's department there. The treasurer's office, as you can tell from the treasurer's report, is utilizing some of their staff, one or two at a time, to process real estate tax receipts and getting those deposits in. And as I say, that was you can see that from the treasurer's report this morning. Other row offices on the first floor are also maintaining a presence and doing what they need to do just to keep things going, so that there isn't a backlog and or any sort of overwhelming catch up to do once the building is back open again. Voter is processing lots of absentee ballots. Mike talked about that. I was glad to hear that they've caught up with the mail, so they're current in that regard. But as everyone I think expects, there's still going to be an avalanche of absentee mailed-in ballots. The courts, as mentioned a minute ago, they are doing some hearings. They have done some central court proceedings, but those are all being done by video. But if someone has a protection from abuse filing a request to file for an order for protection from abuse or an emergency custody hearing, for example, those are things that the court is required to act on immediately or within a defined period of time. So they are maintaining a small presence there to do those sorts of things. Children and youth upstairs on the fourth floor, along with other social services such as aging, mental health, CAP, drug and alcohol, and so on, are all keeping pace with the protective services. They're responding to everything. To my knowledge, they've not had any gaps in that, or things may have fallen through the cracks. They've got calls forwarding. We were able to distribute some additional laptops that have remote access for some of those caseworkers to be able to sign into the state portal and keep up with the data input that's required for their cases. So all of that seems to be going reasonably well. A few hiccups on the rollout of those laptops, but we'll deal with those. And at the jail, they are significantly down in population. I think the last number I heard yesterday was 315 inmates. To give you some comparison, that was about 443 back in January, and has gone down significantly, mostly due to the fact that the inmates are simply reaching their release date, their scheduled release date, and they're obviously being released as required. But with everyone in the stay-at-home and just in general things slowing down, there just aren't that many intakes taking place. And in some cases, the court has worked very closely with the jail to possibly adjust the bail on a case that might otherwise make it to where our defendant might make it to intake, but the courts are giving a little more leeway in that regard to avoid quarantine or avoid people from the outside coming in who you just don't know until they're quarantined. They have isolated half of one of the blocks for a quarantine area, and Prime Care Medical Company, who is our provider there, monitors those quarantines, and typically they're 14 days, but it is entirely up to the medical department to determine when it's time that person is deemed safe to go into the general population. And there's no intermingling going on. They are maintaining minimal traffic in the hallways. Mingling, I mean, between the quarantine and the general population. things seem to be going pretty well at the prison. Prime Care Medical, I will give a real pat on the back. They have done some real good work in terms of anticipating precautions, implementing well-reasoned precautions, and so on, both for the staff and for the inmates. So we currently stand with no cases at the jail. Some other counties and obviously state correctional facilities you've heard about do have some cases, and once they get the cases, unfortunately, it does spread around. So we've been fortunate
Jamie?
there, and I think with some of the good work that the staff and Prime Care have done.
Jamie, question on that.
Yeah.
How many people are in quarantine at the prison, at the jail?
I don't think we have any right now.
Okay.
But I could be mistaken, but if there are, it's, one or two, because, and those would be new intakes. But there were, and I had a question from the press earlier, I think last week, how many tests have been administered, and it's a handful. It's less than 5 number of COVID tests that were administered, and they all came back negative.
Thank you.
Also, Renova Center right now is maintaining operations well. There are no cases to be had there, either with staff or the residents of Renova. And as you know, that's a very vulnerable population. Something that might impact someone who's generally in good health, and would not affect that person too much can severely affect some of the residents of Renova Center. So being very cautious there. And same with central booking, and you heard about the 911 center. Central booking is still functioning and taking all the precautions, and they've been provided some PPE from Bob Dowd's office. And that's about the updates I have.
Okay. Anything else, Jamie, for the good, or we'll have some finishing comments, I guess, but if there's anything from your point of view, agenda-wise, you good?
No, thank you.
Okay. Any comments, commissioners, before we adjourn?
I'd like to thank everyone for being so cooperative out there in the community. People are working together, they're helping each other, they're being patient, and that's so essential so we can get through this together, and we will get through it. And I'd also like to thank our staff who are adjusting and just working from home and doing what they have to do to make sure that our people in Lebanon County are served, especially those caseworkers and children and youth and the area agency on aging and mental health and also drug and alcohol. Your work goes unseen, but you are appreciated. And of course, those that run 24/7, the prison, Renova Center, and the 911 Center, outstanding work. Thank you all.
Commissioner Ames?
Well, without repeating all the things that Commissioner Litz said, I just want to say that the folks that work for us here at the county make me proud every day. It's just really heartwarming to see the attitudes and the work ethic that prevails here at the county, and just to reassure the residents out there that their needs are being served by county government.
Thank you. And at the risk of a three-peat, I will echo what you folks have said. And seriously, the spirit of cooperation across the departments in the county is very inspiring. And also, when you get out in the community, people are really trying to pull together. So we are staying apart but working together, and that's about as good as we can do at this time. Thank you all. If we have nothing further, I'd like to move for adjournment.
So moved.
Do you have any questions from those listening in, Bob?
Nope, there are still 13 people on the call. No raised hands at this time.
All right, then I'll move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Stay well.
We don't have an executive session after this, correct?
11:30. Just kidding.
We don't have
I
any.
got it.
Okay.
I don't have anything
Just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, for protecting me this time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in. A lot of you hung in there till the end, and you're real troopers. Hopefully there's a little good news in all the bad news that you can use to your advantage. Of course, number one is the commissioners did vote today in order to give you a little bit of an extra grace period for the standard period in paying your real estate taxes, as well as extending the 2% discount period to June the 30th. That's a good news. And also we're going to, since we can't promote tourism to bring people here, we're going to try and help to keep our local restaurants afloat by putting up $25,000 in tourism dollars so that they're here to serve the tourists after this is all over. And at the same time, our frontline people are going to be getting some lunches to hopefully lift their spirits. And this is money that's collected from hotel tax. It must be used for tourism. So hopefully those two pieces of information is a little bit of a silver lining that you can utilize and spread around the word to your neighbors and friends. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful day. God bless you all.